as for Thai people, the culture is different. They won't say yes or no. They're like greng chai because they feel like if I say no right away, it won't look good. Or if I say yes, so I don't know what they're thinking.
So actually, I've asked this to myself as well. I feel like it's time to move on from the mask era. Yeah, like me personally, I try to like encourage it. So I go places without a mask, and I see other people looking at me funny, but I still do it anyways, right? Just to start getting back to the normal days. But yeah, I think it's not gonna change anytime soon.
It's like, uy, ผอมนะ ดูดีนะ like you look good, you slim down. And then sometimes my mom especially, she'll be like, oh, you're getting fat, you can't eat anymore, okay?
Oh, God.
And I'm like, it's okay, mom. It was expensive to get this fat, okay?
Good point. Thank you guys for joining us. First of all, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Arena.
And I'm up.
Hi, I'm Nisha.
Okay, so for the first question for Ask the Thais today is the topic of the word greng chai. I think all of you know because since you're all Thai, right? But many Westerners are not familiar with this phrase. And when they ask what it means, most Thais don't have an accurate explanation or definition to tell them. So for you as a Thai, let's start with Arena. How would you explain the word greng chai to a Westerner?
I think like greng chai would be something that it's just a sign of like respect and it's hard to explain. It's actually really hard to explain. It's greng chai is when you respect them and you don't want to bother them and yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess.
What about you, Up?
So yeah, Rina has a good point, but I'll add the word like being humble as well. I think like greng chai is a very Thai thing. Like there's no other word for it in other languages, and like being humble, respecting your elders for sure would be like one of the things. And like you see this often, right? Like teenagers giving the respect to even like older people when they don't even know them, right? So greng chai is like I have to have it, like I think almost all Thais have to have it as well.
Instill in us, I would say.
Like for sure. And like other cultures might have it as well, but like use a different like word for it and like definition for it. But for sure, Thailand is like a big thing, like the word greng chai, right?
Yeah. What about you, Nisha?
I don't know, but I think it's a way of trying to be formal. And sometimes you don't want to be too direct about something, and it's just the culture is just like that. I mean, a lot of like Thai people I notice like they don't want to like hurt your feelings, and as Ab said, it's a way of like showing respect. So that's what I believe. You don't want to go too much out there. You want to like maintain a balance and a good relationship with people.
It's also like when we eat food,
Yeah.
like if we're all having pizza, right?
Yeah.
If you're around like Thai people or people that lived in Thailand, you don't have to be Thai. Like no one will really go for the last piece.
Yeah, this is a common thing for Thai people. And this is a very good example of greng chai because nobody would dare pick the last piece. Like, if you're with a Westerner, they'll be like, I'm going to take that piece. And they wouldn't think too much about it.
Yeah, no, we're like hesitant. We wait until it's like cold and then like, does anyone want it?
Yeah, everybody's leaving and then I'll eat it.
And this is like instilled even in young children as well. Like they make them feel. I think it's a good and bad thing. What would you try to teach your children the word greng chai or let them practice this? In your opinion, or you prefer for them to be direct and straightforward? Like, okay, let's start with Arena.
I would. Like, I think greng chai can benefit you in so many ways, but then I'd also tell them that stand your ground. Be greng chai, but also know when, you have to speak up or like
Boundaries.
Your boundaries, exactly. I think a lot of the times when we're taught greng chai, like I'll take myself for example. Like I grew up super greng chai and I never would ever say no to anything and like I'll always help and I'll always like go out of my way to like help them or like greng chai but I'll never take anything from anyone, and like that has kind of caused like it has not trouble for my life, but like I think I would have had better things like decisions made if I didn't greng chai so much.
You think you were put in a disadvantaged position because of that trait?
Because I took it to like a super level because like I was super cranked. I would never speak up for myself. I would always let other people first, and then so as growing up, like I learned to like, oh, you know, I can put myself first instead of always cranked every single situation. Like it can be great, but it can be also like a con for yourself.
Which is interesting. I have to point this out because Arena is actually a halfie. So she's half Thai, half German. So for her to take the word Greninja close to heart is very interesting because I feel like Germans are very straightforward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you decided to choose Greninja as a big part of living your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, I grew up in Thailand.
Yeah.
Around my, you know, Thai relatives, family and stuff.
Yeah. So that's a good point. What about you? Would you encourage your child or children to practice this?
Yes, I would. You know, like, but like, there's like extents to it. I feel like some people are very extreme about it, especially like when you go into like true traditional Thai places, like the government office, you know, the military. There's like you have to have it, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's more about like, you know, in any culture they'll teach respect. You know, you have to have respect. You can't just go around like, you know, like hurting people's feelings or like,
Yeah.
you know, you have to have that form of
Yeah.
respect. So for me, it's not about like 100% Greninja. It's more like having a balance between, you know, yourself, which is very important, and also respecting other people's and like animals and trees and like, you know, like all those things as well, right? Like,
Great.
yeah.
That's a very wise words.
Yeah.
What about you, Nisha?
Thank you.
I think it depends on circumstances. Like, I mean, okay, firstly, you're living in like Thailand, and this is the culture that you practice. So sometimes, like, if you're too direct, you know, people might see you in a different way, and you might not fit well into the culture. That's what I believe. So, but on some respect, it's also good to be straightforward, because sometimes I feel like the culture of Greninja, it makes it like harder to do a lot of things. Like, for example,
agree.
you're working in an office, and sometimes, like, okay, I had to call a lot of clients at times. So like, suppose like, okay, I was in real estate before, and when I had to call clients on the phone in English, suppose they're not interested in a property, they'll just be like, no, I'm not interested in this one,
Yeah.
or you know, you can send me another one. But as for Thai people, the culture is different. They won't say yes or no. They're like kreng chai, because they feel like if I say no right away, it won't look good. Or if I say yes, so I don't know what they're thinking, you know. So I'm just like, you get it, right?
I
get it.
It's like
We
personal
all can
story.
relate.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
relate.
for
Like, I
sure.
don't know. So like, I mean, if you don't like this particular house, I'll show you another house. But I don't know whether you like this one or not. So
be
I'm
direct.
like, yeah, it makes my life in a way more easier if you're like a little bit more direct. That's what I believe.
I've bought so many insurance on the phone because I tried to say no.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I canceled them all now.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. You know how Thai people, they greet? They usually don't greet, hey, how are you? They would usually greet you in a way like, hey, looks like you lost some weight, or hey, you look like you gained weight. And this is very common. And some people feel offended, but they wouldn't say because of greng dai. But okay, we already discussed that. So let's start with Nisha this time. Why do you think that is the way Thai people greet each other? Why can't it be, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Why it has to be about appearance, in your opinion?
What I believe is that, you know, it's a conversation starter. That's what I believe sometimes.
Breaking
like, you
the
know,
ice.
you know, it's like
Oh, you look
breaking the
fat.
ice. Oh, you look fat today. And then this conversation leads to another conversation. Like, because sometimes like, you say, hey, how are you? And then full stop. What next? But then this can lead to one conversation, and then
That's
that
a good
can lead.
point.
Yeah. So that's what I think, like, and I don't know what to say much about this, but okay, I also come from an Indian background, and it's also very similar. Like, you see somebody like after like so many years, they won't say like, hey, how are you? Like, oh my God, you look so skinny. What did you do? You know, and like, or you're so fat, or like your face has too much pimples or something like that.
No.
They do, but I think it's just a conversation starter. That's just my opinion. But I mean, yeah, that's. What do you think?
Like, to be honest with you, I don't even know why they do that. You know, I find it like I find it very, very strange, and sometimes, like, especially like my mom, you know, like my close relatives would come up to me and be like, you know, up, you've changed, you know, like your skin got darker, or something like
That's
really
common,
offensive,
yeah.
right? So like I don't get it, but I play along, like, you know what I mean, like, yeah, it's a good conversation starter for sure. I'll be like,
is.
oh, you've got a bit darker too, you know? Something
Get
like
back
that.
at them.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
back at them. But like I don't know why. Like it's very strange. I wish it was a bit different, you know, like, but it's not, you know, like, so it is what it is.
What about you?
For me, I get it every time I go home. It's like, "Oi, palm na, do di na, like you look good, you slim down." And then sometimes my mom, especially, she'd be like, "Oh, you're getting fat. You can't eat anymore, okay?"
Oh God.
And I'm like, "It's okay, mom. It was expensive to get this fat, okay?"
Good point.
I spent a lot of money to get to this point.
But do you feel if it wasn't from someone close to you, let's say your mom or relative, if it was someone else who mentioned that or said that, you will feel more offended?
I'd say it back to them.
So you'll feel offended if it was not from a family or friend or a relative.
I don't. For me personally, I wouldn't take it too seriously because they're not someone special to me, so it doesn't really matter. So it's like
Okay.
your opinion doesn't really matter. We can joke around. It'll be a conversation starter. But then, like,
I'm trying to think of examples, and like people will be like, if you're not close, you're like, oh, your hair is so nice, you know, like, oh, did you
yeah.
do something to your teeth or something like that, you know?
they're
It's
usually
just,
nicer.
I know,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
usually
yeah.
nicer, but it's always like something about your appearance, right? And so I think it's like, maybe it's just a very like a way to connect to people, saying how like I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it depends on what they say. People comment on my height a lot. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they're like, why are you so short? And I'm like,
But what can you do
You
about
haven't
it?
grown.
I don't know.
like, you're so short. And I'm like, yeah, my parents are short. But they ask like, why? I don't know how to
Why?
say like why.
I
I'm
didn't
like,
drink enough milk growing up.
That's
My
genetics.
parents starved me.
So I feel like some things don't like make sense. Like, you know, why are your ankles so tiny?
oh my God,
Like
why would
that.
someone look at your ankle and comment? That's weird. Yeah.
You know, and like especially when I go massage, they start laughing. Oh, your feet are so small. I'm like, I'm like, how's that funny?
Yeah, I feel like this is a very common Thai thing that they would just comment on your appearance, even though it's negative, just freely. And I always wonder why, even though I felt like if they were to be talked or, you know, be picked on that, they would feel offended too, but they don't feel it's a thing if they do it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Thai sense of humor as well is just like picking on people.
This is true.
It's true though. They pick on each other and it's funny, and I guess it's just like, you know, the society that like they grew up in, we grew up in, you know, it's just become a normal thing. And
Yeah.
like we don't view it as bullying or picking on. We just view it as comedy. And
I feel like if a Thai person said this to a Westerner,
Oh, it'd be so
Oh.
different.
yeah,
So
right?
different, yeah.
It would be another story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the last question, guys. So, you know, the face mask wearing thing in Thailand is still a thing. And in many countries worldwide, people are going mask free, living their life normally. And when they come to Thailand, they're like, oh, we're still in the pandemic era. I actually kind of forget about that. So, okay, let's start with Up. Why do you think Thai people are so attached to the face mask wearing thing or habit despite the world moving on already? I mean, for the face mask, I know COVID is pretty much real right now and it's still ongoing, so I'm not commenting about that. It's just
Yeah.
the face mask wearing.
Yeah. So actually, I've asked this to myself as well. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like it's time to move on from the mask era. But in my personal opinion, I think like Thai people get used to things and
Yeah.
they don't let go of it. You know, so it's kind of like the new normal. This word's been like used like a lot.
Yeah.
No, new normal. Yeah, like me personally, I try to like encourage it. So I go places without a mask, you know, and I see other people looking at me funny, but I still do it anyways, right?
Yeah.
Just to start getting back to the normal days. But yeah, I think it's not gonna change anytime soon. I think they like it. You know, like maybe it's just like you don't just leave me alone, just leave me in my own area. Like, you know, I don't want to like have anything to do with you or like contact you and just.
Yeah.
And a mask does that, right? You know, like you don't see their smiles anymore. You don't see any. Yeah, it's just like excluded.
Like the human interaction there is gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's why I want to encourage like no mask more. And like I'll be in the office walking with no mask, going to 7-Eleven, and people still look at me funny. But then foreigners doing it, and then they don't look at them funny. So why are you looking at me funny, right?
Because you're Thai.
Exactly.
Yeah, they judge you. 'cause
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have like a, can I say this?
Yeah,
We have a
yeah.
Karen in our building.
Really?
Yes, she's like 3 doors down, and then
Very specific. Very specific there,
I
Rina.
hope you're not. Well, if you are watching. So I walked by to the elevator, and she was throwing like the trash out.
Yeah.
And then she basically started muttering something, and what she was saying was like, "Why aren't you wearing your mask?" And we're just like, "Yo, leave us alone." I'm walking to the elevator. I'm not like in your house or in your
Yeah.
business, but like I feel like a lot of the older
Yeah.
people are still stuck on that. And then you know, like we don't really have media going out of their way saying, you know, go mask free, whereas everything, you know, whereas like in the West, people are like boycotting masks. Like if you
Yeah.
wear a mask, you're the one that has the
Yeah,
flu,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
contagious
Yeah.
one. Whereas here is like if you're not wearing a mask.
So actually, that's a good point. I never heard in Thai media that you can go mask free, but it was
Yeah.
you don't have to wear a mask anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Have
Yeah.
to.
It was
Yeah.
like it's told once
Yeah, it
a
was.
couple months
That's
ago,
it.
and then that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It's like, so the you know, the people, the bigger people, people, they're like not promoting it. They're not encouraging it. I think.
Yeah.
What about you, Nisha?
I have few things like I think one is because maybe they are afraid, and secondly I think it's to do with peer pressure. Like one person wears it and they don't want to be like left out, you know, like
Yeah.
oh everybody's wearing it, I don't want to be the only one not to wear it. So everybody like, I think there's a word for it. I think it's called
Greng
compliance.
Yeah.
Greninja, yeah, exactly, Greninja. So that's what I feel like for me, like when I'm like in the MRT, right, I see everybody wearing it, and I'm like, if I'm not gonna wear it, people are gonna look at me like weird, like
Yeah,
what
like
you
the
said,
black
right, the
sheep.
black
Yeah,
sheep.
yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, I'll wear it. But when I'm walking outside, I just like choose not to wear it, and I look like a foreigner anyway, so
Yeah,
they won't say anything to
by
me.
it.
But for you, it's
I
like,
I look very Thai. Yeah.
yeah.
I am Thai.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna ask this. You're probably gonna hate me for asking, but you're gonna fly domestic today. Will you wear a face mask on the plane?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. You
Yeah,
would.
yeah.
Why?
I don't want to be the black sheep. I don't know. Like.
Don't want haters.
Yeah. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll try it out.
And let us know.
Yeah.
Let us.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens.
I don't think anybody would say anything like directly
Yeah.
to me, like wear your mask, because like I fly almost like a lot, and people do like start like not wearing masks, but they'll definitely look at me funny, like
In
a
Phuket,
million
people are
percent.
not wearing much, I
Will it
think.
be like you're not allowed in?
I don't think
Yeah.
they'll go that far.
Maybe I'll put a mask in my pocket
Yeah, just
and then
keep it
just
in
walk.
your
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
It's like,
good
here's my mask.
That's a good move. But do you think Thai people will move on from this soon, in your opinion?
No,
Right.
no,
No?
no way.
I hope so.
I
Yeah.
hope they do. I hope they do, but I don't think soon.
I feel like a lot of people want to take their mask out, but they're just, I don't know, feel peer pressured, like you said, and greng jai is also
Greng
another
jai.
huge factor to why they're still wearing face masks.
I think within 3 months, a lot of the young people are gonna start,
Yeah.
you know, stop not wearing masks like
Yeah.
within 3 months, because it's still kind of fresh for Thai time,
Exactly.
you know. Like
And
we-
more tourists coming in, when they see more tourists not wearing, then I think finally they will just be like, oh, okay, since they're not wearing, we're not wearing as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm already feeling that way, you know. Like
Yeah.
if they're not wearing it, like
yeah, that's
yeah.
that's how I
That's how
started.
we all
Yeah.
But I mean, like real locals that, like, you know, they live in their own community where there's not many foreigners or tourists. I feel like they're still very stuck to that idea of mask wearing, especially older people, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, well, so I think that's it for today. And thank you for all your opinions and joining us. And I would like to give a shout out to Up. It's his birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And thank you again for joining us. I hope to see all of you in our next episode or in the future episodes to discuss more about different topics. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.